What's up, everybody? This is Passion 9. Attack on Titan, Final Season, Episode 11, Review. Let's do it. Let's get in there and talk about this latest episode here. Which is all about Gabby being angry as fuck. You know, we finally got them out of jail. Gabby and Falco, they escaped from prison. Starting with an extremely brutal surprise attack by Gabby. This poor guard is just checking on her cell because she's spazzing out. She's pretending to have a seizure or something. And you know, this poor guy just gets bludgeoned to death by a brick. You know, she just pounds his head. But it does get them out of the cell. So strategically, it was a good move. Morally, it was, well, kind of reprehensible, but given her situation, you know, she's a soldier in a strange land that she's been brainwashed to believe is evil. You know, she's a soldier in enemy territory. I mean, it's only natural that she perceives all of the Eldians in Paradise as a threat, you know, as not to be trusted. And that's pretty much the centerpiece of this episode, is that Gabby still don't care. Only now she's mad as well. She don't care and she's mad. There's a lot of that going on here. Luckily she's got Falco, who is the more chill compatriot here. He's, you know, if Gabby is basically just Eren, you know, the next generation Eren, then Falco is pretty much Armin, if you think about it. He is the more compassionate one. He is the more empathetic, you know, chill bro, who, of course, did have the benefit of perspective with Reiner and Eren when he was in that basement. It was a very pivotal scene now because, you know, that's where Falco kind of got his awakening on the situation, where he learned that, like, yeah, maybe we shouldn't just charge headlong into battling the enemy forever, because it's a cycle that's never gonna end, you know? And Falco sees that, and he's like, yo, take that armband off, you know? People are gonna notice that you're with Marley, and it'll just put us in danger, you know? And he goes for armband, he's like, yeah, take this off. And she spazzes out. She's like, no freaking way. No freaking way, bro. You ain't taking off my armband. That's my pride, alright? That is my pride as an Eldian fighting for Marley, alright? I'm one of the good ones. I am one of the good Eldians that is fighting for a future where Eldians are accepted. Which, of course, we know is kind of bullshit. But she doesn't know that. That's what propaganda is all about. She's been told lies, viewers. She's been served, you know, brainwashing lies for the sake of Marley having another warrior candidate on their hands. So that's it. You know, just another up-and-coming Titan. And that's it. And when you look at it that way, it's understandable that Gabby is kind of a monster. She kind of wants to kill every Paradisian she comes across. And, you know, they get to this farm. They get to this farm that this girl leads them to. This girl, Kaya. You know, she sees them out there in the woods looking for refuge. And she's like, yo, come over to my place. You know, we're gonna cook up a meal. We're gonna have ourselves a meal. And you could come over. You know, it's all good. And they go over there, and wouldn't you know it, it's actually the house of Sasha's father. Her father, who also took in all these orphans, all these war orphans from, you know, 4 years ago during the Titan War that they had to fight on Paradise. You know, the good old days. And he took in all these orphans. So he's got all these kids that him and his wife are looking after. And I think they pretty much know right off the bat that these two are from Marley. And just, maybe they don't know that they're the same Marleyans, or Marleyan, that killed Sasha. You know, I don't think they know Gabby did that. But they do know that they're dealing with two Marleyan stowaways that are far from home. But they serve them anyway. They serve them food. They don't call them out. They just like, hey, you know, our home is your home. Just stay here, and you know, because that's what they do. They take in lost children. They take in orphans for the greater good, which is very nice. Sasha's dad is a very nice guy, apparently. You know, living it up morally. And unfortunately, Gabby is just not having it. You know, she's freaking out. She can barely scarf down the food because she doesn't trust the Eldians there. She just doesn't trust them at all. She can't get any chill going. Falco's just like, oh, let's just eat up. Let's just hide out here for a while, you know. And maybe they could help us get back home. It's no problem. Actually, no, he's counting on... they're both kind of hoping that the other countries will align with... inevitably with Marley and have a counterattack of some kind, which of course is inevitable. But Gabby is not willing to do that. She's not willing to stay there. Doesn't trust the Paradisos, and as a matter of fact, she's ready to kill this girl that led them to this place. She's ready to kill her when she calls them out as Marleyans. You know, she admits, like, yeah, I knew you guys were from Marley. You yelled it out while I was out there. And she calls them out, and that's all it takes for Gabby to grab a pitchfork and try to run her through with it. Which is pretty horrifying. Gabby's scary. She's a scary gal. You know, she may only be like 10 or 12, or whatever the hell she is. But she's scary as hell. You know? She's a trained soldier. And Falco, luckily, again, steps in, and he grabs the pitchfork, and he's like, no. No. We're not going to do that. We're not going to be brutal. You know, she's helping us out. She gave us refuge. She could have said something while we were eating, but she didn't. And when she was in danger there, she still didn't call them out. You know, the other orphans are like approaching the situation. They're like, yo, you need help? It looks like that girl was trying to kill you just now. And she's like, no, there was just a bit of jealousy going on. She thought I was hitting on her brother because, you know, part of their alias is that they're brother and sister. So she kind of covers for them and is like, okay, no big deal. You lost your chill there. I get it. You're from far away, and we're supposed to be your enemies. But it doesn't stop there. Gabby doesn't take that either. She's just like, you know, why don't you admit you've committed sins? Your ancestors, your family, they've all done horrible things. And you people are devils. Now, Gabby is staying on the offensive. And while that's going on, we cut back to Hanji. Poor Hanji, poor put upon, exhausted Hanji, who is kind of fed up with her role as commander of the scouts, has a new problem to deal with. It turns out information about Eren being in prison, being locked away in the dungeon, was leaked by Flock and a few other scouts, you know, outside of the Levi and Mikasa crew. You know, our familiar boys is Flock and friends. The same Flock, same redhead dude that survived the ending of Season 3, you know, the big battle with Captain Erwin, is totally on Team Eren. He leaked this information to the public. They all want to know why he's locked up. And, you know, this was secret military information. This was not supposed to be leaked. So Hanji's like, you know, why'd you guys do this? Why'd you leak this information? They're like, because we want Eren out of there. We want him freed. Dude's a pimp. Dude's a warrior. just saved, the future of the Eldian Empire by attacking Marley. He went rogue. He did that shit like a boss, and that's why we want him out of there. Get him out of jail. Just free Eren. Free Eren. And Hanji's just like, no. You see, this isn't gonna work. You know what I mean? We have our reasons for keeping him down there. We're not just gonna free him because y'all want him free. So they end up putting them in prison. Now they have to do time. And we get a moment here with one of those scouts, a girl named Louise, who apparently was saved by Mikasa when she was a kid. Back during the early seasons. Maybe even back to season 1, I'm not sure, but it's pretty far back. And Mikasa, is just telling her, like, yeah, just shut it. I don't care what your reasons are. You made a mistake leaking that information. Don't talk to me. Just, obviously Mikasa's also kind of burnt out all the way things have been going. And we see that girl giving the salute, the old scout salute. And it's touching. Mikasa acknowledges it, but she's like, no, I'm not gonna buy into this right now. All right, I got a lot of shit going on. She's got trauma on the mind. She's thinking back to when Eren first killed those dudes, back when they were kids. Killed those thieves or whatever they were, those killers. And this time it's shown to us in a far less heroic light. It's shown as a bit of a horrific, it was pretty horrific. It's cast under a scary light because Mikasa's thinking back on it and she's retroactively realizing, like, yeah, that was gruesome. Like, he did save my life. On the one hand, he saved my life. But on the other hand, we both ended up killing these guys. We were only kids. And Eren especially stormed in there, made the first moves, and just impaled these guys. Without a second thought, without any hesitation. So he was already, he already had the capacity to kill. He already had this killer mentality. Even if it was for a good cause, it was saving somebody innocent. He's only a kid. And if he could already be bold enough to just, remorseless enough to just kill, regardless of who he was killing, it's pretty horrific. It's reframed in such a way that, yeah, you realize, like, Eren's grown now. He's a grown-ass man. And he's doing the same thing again. He's just callously murdering. And this time it's not just other killers. It's innocent people as well. And he has so much power now. He's so much stronger. He's such a beast compared to when he was a child. That, it's not the heroic sort of thing it once was, We realize he has that same capacity for murder, but now he also has a lot of power. He's not the same person anymore. He's not just a human being. So I think Mikasa is responding to that memory as a traumatic memory, because she realizes that's all catching up with them now. That they weren't just slaying monsters the whole time, they were also fighting against other people, other Eldians. So we get that moment, and it's great. And then we cut back to Gabi and the chillin'. And Kaya shows them to a village. The village she used to live in. It tells them about when her mother was killed by a Titan. And again, coincidental as it may be, thematically this is great. This is brilliant stuff. We find out that this is the same girl that Sasha rescued with that bow and arrow way back in season 2. This is the same girl that was traumatized. She saw her mother getting eaten. And it was actually a small Titan. It was a small Titan that Sasha ran in there, grabbed an axe, and then did him off with the bow and arrow. pretty heroic moment, pretty great stuff. And we find out that girl is grateful to Sasha. She remembers that strongly. And says, like, I want to be like her. I want to be this person who saved me. But before that, we get into a big argument between Kaya and Gabby. You know, still putting up that front, still talking about how her ancestors were evil and they destroyed and ravaged the world and they created a horrible evil empire, and Kaya's just like, okay, but what does that have to do with me? What does that have to do with my mother? She didn't kill anyone, I didn't kill anyone. You know, that was my ancestors, so what? Like, if that's what they tell you in Marley, that's fine, but I didn't do anything. And it gets intense, you know. She's crying, she's yelling at Gabby, she's like, what did we do? You know, she keeps trying to, you know, push the situation back. She keeps trying to, like, push her propaganda on her. And it just isn't gonna work, you know. This girl is standing her ground. She's like, what did my mother do to deserve dying? You know, she was just a victim. She's just a victim of the Titans that attacked us 4 years ago. And she's like, well, your people came to Marley and fucked our shit up, so you're definitely evil. And she's like, that wasn't me. I was attacked by the Titans 4 years ago. My mother died 4 years ago. What are you talking about? That had nothing to do with me. And surely enough, Falco steps in and he's like, well, your mother actually died because some of our people did come over here. They did a surprise attack to stage for something bigger down the line, and unfortunately your mother and you got caught in it. And you know, that was not direct. It was not that they were the targets necessarily, but they got caught up in it. You know, war is messy, that whole shebang. And you know, good on Falco for just like stepping forward and being totally honest there. You know, not being ashamed to say it, like, well, okay, there's shame there, but not being afraid to, like, admit this. Like, yeah, it was our people that did it. You know, he's definitely the more understanding, chill bro. And even after all that, Gabby's still like, you're leaking secrets to the enemy, you know that, right? Like, you just admitted that. It's like, what are you doing helping her? And she just won't let go of that Marleyan pride, man. It's frustrating because in some ways it's like, yeah, you get where she's coming from. You totally understand why she is so braced for combat, so ready to just take on everybody in Paradise and continue seeing them as devils. She wants revenge, and it's understandable. You know, her friends were killed right in front of her. Her whole hometown was wrecked and destroyed. But at the same time, this was the episode for me. This was the episode that finally made me feel like, oh god, Gabby, chill out. Just chill. Like, I get it, and I love it. I love the tension. I love the drama it creates. I love how suspenseful that is. And I love the dynamic between her and Falco. You know, where he has that wider perspective. He's going to step in, and he's going to be like, we don't have to be this way. You know? Right? These are just farmers. These are just local people. Like, it's not everybody, you know? And it's great. It's great stuff. It's great freaking drama. I love it. And then finally, we get a preview scene. We get a preview scene here after the credits that is much needed, where we find out the Marleyan soldiers have figured it out. They figured out that Zeke, you know, they recovered his arms and legs, but they didn't recover the rest of his body. And they were like, yep, you can guess what that means. We've deduced this shit. Zeke betrayed us and left on the airship. He left with Paradise. He's a traitor. He sucks. Fuck Zeke. And that's what's been going on here. And he's saying this to Reiner, who is finally awake, with the rest of the, the Titan soldiers in Marley. And they're all just reeling from the fact that he betrayed them. betrayed them. It was terrible. And they're understandably they're pissed off. And the general dude, don't know his name, but the general guy is like, yeah, we'll stage a global alliance attack in like 6 months. We should be able to do that. You know, we'll get our revenge. And Ryder and the group is just like, fuck that shit. No, 6 months. You're gonna wait 6 months to rescue Falco and Gabby, and you know, turns out they're pretty valuable because they are warrior candidates. They are future titans, future titan bearers. You know, that have been groomed to be the next big thing for Marley's defense. You know, and they're like, yeah, we're not gonna wait that long to rescue them. And Reiner makes a great point where he's like, I know Zeke, I know what he's gonna do. He's expecting us to take time to rebuild our forces after that attack. He's expecting us to wait a while because that's why they destroyed the Navy. That's why they did all that. It's to buy themselves some time. And he's like, no, we can't wait that long. We have to do a surprise attack now. We have to go in there now. And I love that scene. I love the fact that like they are gung-ho about just getting over there as quickly as possible because, I mean, yeah, get these battles going again, man. Reiner deserves another shot. You know, he kind of got humiliated in some respects. Kind of went down a little hard. You know, was super on the edge, wanting to end his life, and now he's back. Reiner is back into his old self. He's like, no, we're gonna go over there. We're gonna show these bastards something, and we're gonna rescue our friends. And it's good. It's good times, I have to say. So yeah, this episode was pretty goddamn good. Like, frustrating, but frustrating in a good way. You know what I mean? Like, we needed more time with Gabby and Falco, so that was great. Maybe there's hope. You know, maybe there's hope for Gabby to see what Falco sees. You know, experience what he's experienced. Maybe. Possibly. But we're down to only 5 episodes. We only have 5 episodes left. I think it's absolutely guaranteed at this point there's going to be either an OVA, some kind of movie trilogy or something, or just a split course season, which I'd rather have, personally. I'd rather it stay episodic. But who knows? I just know they ain't ending this in 5 episodes. Not happening. There's too much being built up here. You know, they'd have to severely rush the last few episodes to get, you know, a rushed ending to this show. Not gonna happen. I think we're in good hands there. I think Mappa is determined to give us the full manga story. So, looking forward to that. But, yeah. Thanks for tuning in, guys. And, stay tuned for the next review. Excited for next week. Live for the passion. Toodles.